thousands of loyal, hardworking American patriots who, by the way, gave President Trump a win. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Incredible people. I want to begin tonight's rally by addressing the suspicious devices and packages that were mailed to current and former high-ranking government officials. My highest duty, as you know, as president, is to keep America safe. That's what we talk about. That's what we do. The federal government is conducting an aggressive investigation, and we will find those responsible, and we will bring them to justice, hopefully very quickly. Any acts or threats of political violence are an attack on our democracy itself. No nation can succeed that tolerates violence or the threat of violence as a method of political intimidation, coercion, or control. We all know that. Such conduct must be fiercely opposed and firmly prosecuted. We want all sides to come together in peace and harmony. We can do it. We can do it. We can do it. It'll happen. More broadly, there's much we can do to bring our nation together. For example, those engaged in the political arena must stop treating political opponents as being morally defective. Have to do that. The language of moral condemnation and destructive routine, these are arguments and disagreements that have to stop. No one should carelessly compare political opponents to historical villains, which is done often, it's done all the time. Got to stop. We should not mob people in public spaces or destroy public property. There is one way to settle our disagreements. It's called peacefully at the ballot box. That's what we want. As part of a larger national effort to bridge our divides and bring people together, the media also has a responsibility to set a civil tone and to stop the endless hostility and constant negative and oftentimes false attacks and stories. Have to do it. They've got to stop. Bring people together. We're just 13 days away from a very, very important election. It's an election of monumental, just if you look at it, monumental importance, isn't it? Wouldn't you say monumental importance? There are dramatic differences between our two political parties, that we know. It is essential for democracy to draw a sharp contrast between the two different platforms put before the American people. And we have a chance to do that right now in many states and on November 6th. We need more, not less, debate about policy issues in our country. But what we cannot do is let our disagreements about matters of policy tear us apart as a country. Can't do that. We must accept the verdicts of elections and remember that America's greatest achievements have always been those endeavors we embarked on together. We have had great, great achievements. So let's put it all together, right? Let's put it all together. Let's get along. Great country. We're going to get along. But that's why I'm here today. That's to ask the people of Wisconsin to re-elect a truly great governor, Scott Walker, and to send an incredible woman and talent, Leah Vukmir, to the United States Senate. Leah. Those are two great people. Scott and Liam are true champions for the state. Always have been. Early voting is now underway, so get out and vote. The decision in this election is so clear all over the country. Republicans are for lower taxes, less regulations, and more economic freedom, and that's a good thing. The Democrats are for higher taxes, more regulation, and more top-down government control. And by the way, do you see how nice I'm behaving tonight? This is like, have you ever seen this? We're all behaving very well. And hopefully we can keep it that way, right? We're going to keep it that way. Republicans want to create better health care through more choice, lower drug prices, and you will see very soon drug prices will go plunging downward. You wait, you wait. It's all in motion. And we've created much more competition. Democrats want socialist health care where private plans are outlawed and abolished. Republicans want a strong, secure border. When our country is assaulted by thousands and thousands of people marching, and they openly say, we're going to go into the country. We can't do that. We can't do that. Can't allow that. It's unfair to you, but it's also unfair to thousands and thousands of people that have gone through a legal process. Some are waiting in line 10 years. Everything is perfect, and they don't get in, but other people just march right in. It will not happen. You watch. It will happen. Those who violate our laws and cross our borders illegally will be sent back home quickly. And we tell them that because they've got a long hike, but they can't come, they cannot come in the way they want to come in. It doesn't work that way. We don't have borders, we don't have a country, and we have the greatest country on earth. Okay? Republicans know that the rule of law is essential to national sovereignty, and we know that immigration enforcement is essential to public safety, national security, and the protection of American jobs, wages, and public benefits. You know that. And I said I was going to bring the jobs back. We have factories coming back. We have plants coming back. We have companies coming back. They're all coming back, and the jobs are coming back like you've never seen before. I said it. I just didn't know I could do it this quickly. I just didn't know. Democrats oppose any effort to secure our border. And wait till you see what we're doing with our border over the next few weeks. As you know, we started the wall, $1.6 billion, another $1.6 billion, and we have another, but we want to build it very quickly all at one time, and we'll get it done. But wait till you see what happens over the next couple of weeks. You're going to see a very secure border. You just wait. And the military is ready. They're all set. nobody like them. Democrats believe in catch and release. You know what that is, right? That's you catch a person coming across our border illegally. What's your name? My name is so-and-so. Well, do me a favor, write it down. Would you show up in about 3 or 4 years for a court case? Yes, I'll show up. And we never see them again. We never see them. They strongly support sanctuary cities that refuse to cooperate with federal law enforcement and release known gang members, predators, criminal aliens into our communities. It's not going to happen in Wisconsin, I can tell you that. Not going to happen. And we're getting them out fast. MS-13, thousands and thousands of MS-13, they're out. We're getting them out fast because of ICE and other law enforcement. ICE and other law enforcement. And the Democrats even oppose legislation to increase the penalty for criminals and drug dealers who repeatedly break into our country and hurt and seriously injure, and even worse, our people. We're not allowing it anymore, and they understand it, and they understand it. Everybody understands it. Republicans believe our judges should interpret the Constitution as written. Democrats believe judges should be able to rewrite the Constitution, which they're doing all the time, especially when it comes to the border. They end up writing rules and regulations that are worse than anything you've ever seen. But ultimately, we're going to get up to the Supreme Court, and hopefully that great court will straighten things out. And these are just some of the issues in this election. And these are also the reasons why it's so important for each of you, each one, to get out and vote. Get out and vote. Now, if you're going to vote Democrat, don't bother. If you're going to vote, I think we have a lot of Republicans here, don't we? So between Scott and Leah, who's in favor of those two great people? Yeah? I thought so. And you got a lot of people outside. This is a beautiful place, by the way. This is a beautiful place. Under Republican leadership, America is booming. America is thriving. And America is winning because we are finally putting America first. It's been a long time. The unemployment rate just fell to the lowest level in over 50 years, 50 years. 50. Manufacturing confidence has reached an all-time high in the history of our country. I think it's now 38 years old, this poll. It's a long time. Could be longer, but I think it probably would also be in the history. Confidence, all-time high. More people are working now than at any point in the history of the United States. Think of that. And one of the reasons for that is that we have eliminated a record number of job-killing regulations. Passed a massive tax cut for working families, and we will soon follow it up with another 10% tax cut for the middle class. That's all for the middle class. That's on top of the tax cut we got for the middle class and for business. It's going to be great, and you see how it's working. We are taking care of our great veterans, and our military will soon be more powerful by far than ever before. And I have to tell you, I know a lot of governors. Some are good, some aren't so hot. Some are really not so good. And I want to just tell you, I have to say this to Wisconsin. He ran against me in the primary. He was tough. he could be nasty. Wow. But he was tough and he was smart. But I've gotten to know him well, and he did something that I didn't think would be happening in this country for a long time. I got him set up with an incredible company called Foxconn. And Terry Gao, the head and owner and one of the richest men in the world, they make much of the Apple product. And you know, I've been saying for a long time, it won't be complete until we get Apple. And Apple, by the way, is spending $350 billion in this country, bringing back $230 billion from offshore only because of our taxes. They're building a great campus. They're building places all over. $350 billion. I thought it was $350 billion. That sounded good. You can do a lot of good plans for 300. They're doing $350 billion now. But Foxconn does much of the work in China and other places for Apple. And they came to Wisconsin with the most incredible plan. I don't know, has anybody seen this place? It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. And we toured it, and we had a ribbon cutting a few months ago. And I handed it over to Scott. And I said, lots of luck. That was just the very beginning. 99% of the people, if they were governor, could never have done that job. Not only do the job, do it so well. It was almost 15,000 jobs. And much more important, there's no plant like it anywhere in the United States. One of the most incredible things I've ever seen. One of the most incredible. I'll never forget, I'm going around with Scott and Paul Ryan and everybody, and you know, just incredible. You have incredible people here. We're going around at the opening, and they needed robots. So they said, rather than going and buying them from a German manufacturer, we'll make them here. And this is complex stuff, just so you understand. These are the most sophisticated in the world. And you come back 3 months later, they have a whole robot factory made. It's the most incredible thing. This is truly one of the great plants, certainly in this country. I don't think there's anything close. And in the world, it's right at the top. And it was done because of Scott Walker. Few people could have done it. A lot of jobs and all of that, but when you look at it, I've never seen anything like it. Earlier this month, I announced that we are replacing the horrible, horrible NAFTA deal with an incredible, brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. It's called the USMCA because I refused to use the name NAFTA. Because I see things from NAFTA, we still are scarred all over our country. We have empty factories, empty buildings, just by the thousands. And millions of jobs were lost. Big portions of our auto industry was lost to Mexico and other places. NAFTA was a disaster. It was a bad deal from day one. It should have been terminated on day 2. And 25 years later, I got it terminated, okay? And the new USMCA, I like that too. USMCA. It works. Now I say it like routinely. At first we had to sort of give it a little thought. Now it's very routine. USMCA. It's a giant victory for Wisconsin farmers, manufacturers, and dairy producers. And I have to say this because we have a lot of great farmers in this country, but I give Wisconsin a lot of credit for it. Because I came up here once, and it was rough. I was with Ron Johnson, a great person, a great senator who loves you. And Paul, and I was with Scott, and I'm just going around, and farmers came up to me. Sir, could you help me? I don't know that much about farming, but I know about business. And these great people came up. Sir, Canada just put a surcharge on our dairy product, and they did this, and they did that. And I said, can't be that bad. Then I'd go see another group, sir. And they had just put a very onerous tax on a very specific type of specialty milk. What the hell do I know about specialty milk? And you know what? It's funny. It was a very small part of the market. but it was the wrong thing to do, and it really angered. Because on the big part of the market, in dairy, you were paying 275% tariffs, and nobody knew that. But this little tiny part of specialty market, it got you. In other words, you're paying it for years, 275. This little, which was a fraction of the big market that you accepted, and you lived with it. Basically, it was a barrier to Canada. It was a barrier. And they're great people, Canada, but this was a barrier. This little thing got your goat, and I got up here, and I got hit by every farmer in Wisconsin. It was just that step too far, right? You know, you go up to the line. They just went a little too far. And since that time, I never forgot it. So you're really responsible to a large extent for the USMCA. And now, as you know, the Canadian market, which was not open, is now open. Go do well. And it's a great agreement. And we're not going to lose our businesses anymore. We're not going to have them move down and build plants and build all sorts of things. And we've gotten tremendous reviews on that agreement. So we're very proud of the USMCA. And to a very large extent, it started here because of a specialty dairy, little tiny dairy product. Okay? Because I saw what happened. We were treated unfairly. And your political leaders, and that's all of them, they pushed me hard. They said, don't forget those farmers. I didn't. And I came back numerous times and I saw the farmers. But now we have a final agreement. It's going to be approved by Congress, I'm sure, very quickly, I think. Statutorily, we have to wait a period of time, and then you have to wait again, but it's right on track, doing well. And even, I must say, and this is very positive, even Democrats like this deal. The Democrats like the deal. Can you imagine? It may be bipartisan. Can you believe that? Can you believe it? And that's what we're talking about today. We can do a lot of that. And I think we will do bipartisan on infrastructure. I think we're going to have a lot of that. So that would be great. But thank you very much to the people and to the farmers of Wisconsin. You had a lot to do. 2 weeks ago, we achieved yet another historic victory for our nation. We proudly confirmed the newest member of the United States Supreme Court, Justice treated unfairly. That was brutal. That was brutal. I went up to him and I said, when I decided to, I chose him out of the finest, brilliant legal minds, scholars in the whole country. And for 10 years I heard about Brett Kavanaugh. He'll be a young guy. He'll be a Supreme Court judge someday. I didn't know I was going to be president. I didn't know. I heard he was going to be a Supreme Court judge. I didn't know he was going to be president. But for years, they talked about him because of his great intellect. And I'll never forget, it just shows you how life is. We're in the White House. I say judge because he was a judge, now he's a justice. But I said, Judge, I'm going to choose you for the United States Supreme Court. Now, Judge, this is going to go so fast, so easy. You are so perfect. You don't have a thing wrong. You're the best student, #1 in this class, all over the place. You're the best, the great intellect, the great scholar. Your family, your beautiful wife, your beautiful daughters, everyone is so perfect. This is going to go so easy, so fast. And then I saw the way they made him suffer. And he got through it with style and got through it with grace, and now he's going to be in the United States Supreme Court for a long period of time. And he's a good person. He's a great person. That was a tough treatment. That's what we have to get rid of, that kind of treatment. We have to get rid of it. And he sits alongside of Justice Neil Gorsuch, who we also put on the Supreme Court a little time before. And they're going to defend your rights. They will be defending your rights, your Constitution, and your freedom, right? Not bad. A lot of people say that's the most important decision a president can make. Now, I would say war and peace, and then that, okay? If you don't mind. We'll change because that's the way it is. But it is a very, very important decision, and they are two great people. and I'm very honored. You know, many presidents don't get a chance to put a Supreme Court justice on. Here we are, less than 2 years, we put 2 of them on, right? So if we go with this clip, we'll put 8 of them on. How do you like that idea? 8. 1 a year. We'll do 1 a year. We'll put 1 a year on. Thank you very much. Very important that we have great, great talents and great people on the Supreme Court of the United States. This will be the election of the caravans, Kavanaugh, law and order, tax cuts, and common sense. A lot of it's common sense. A lot of politics is common sense. We are honored to be joined tonight by many great Republican leaders, including the Wisconsin leader who fought so hard for our tax cuts, regulation cuts, veterans. We fought for those veterans. And choice, we fought for choice. And for our great military in terms of $700 billion. We're rebuilding our military stronger than ever before. Speaker Paul Ryan. Paul. I'd bring him up, but I don't think Secret Service looks like they're going to let you go. Great job, Paul. Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Great. Done a great job. Also here are your Republican members of Congress. That's right. Duffy, we start with Duffy. Sean Duffy. You know, I love champions. Okay, I have to tell you this about Sean. So I didn't know. Sean was just a nice-looking young congressman. What do I know? Then I'm watching something, and I see a guy going up a tree. It's a few years ago, but that's okay. He's going up a tree. And they said, it's Sean Duffy. I said, can't be the one I know. And it was. And he was the world champion for 5 years. And I said, that looks tough. He said, going up isn't tough. It's coming down. Because a lot of times you break your legs. I can see that. They just do like a free fall. But you have to, he was telling me, every 10 feet you have to stop, stop, stop. And if you don't stop, you're in deep trouble. So Sean's been fantastic, and he's a great political talent also. Thank you very much, Sean. Thank you. And your family. Look at her over there, huh? Do we love her? Do we like her more than Sean? I think so. Anyway, great family. Thank you both very much. Great job. Glenn Grothman. Glenn. Where's Glenn? Thank you, Glenn. What a help he's been on so many things, right? Thank you, Glenn, very much. Great job. And a man who has worked so hard. He is so smart. I actually said to him, you know, people really don't know how smart you are. See, I worked with him on tax legislation in particular. He knew that stuff better than anybody. He was brutal. He really understood it better than anyone. I said, you are like a hidden weapon. Senator Ron Johnson. And he took that compliment like it didn't matter. He just wanted to get back to work. Thank you, Ron. Great job. We appreciate it, too. These people appreciate it. And I also want to thank a woman who works very hard. It's not easy being First Lady, especially being First Lady of Wisconsin, Tonette Walker. Thank you, Tonette. And Lieutenant Governor Rebecca Kleefisch. Thank you. Wisconsin State Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald. Where's Scott? Thanks, Scott. Great job. And a man I got to know pretty well during a thing called a campaign from 2 years ago, Wisconsin GOP Chair Brad Courtney. Thanks, Brad. Great job. Great job, Brad. Well, you brought us to victory, so we should. Another man who brought us to victory, and I'll tell you, he's a special person. He's a great person. It took us all about 5 years to figure out how the hell to pronounce his name. But now we have it. He's doing fantastically well. He is just really somebody that you love him in Wisconsin, they love him in Washington, which is a rare combination, I have to tell you. But he's a very talented guy and a really good person. Former Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus. Thank you, Reince. Great guy. We had a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And he loves this place. We're especially honored to be here with the next United States Senator from Wisconsin, Leah Vukmir. And, you know, I like looking at polls only when we're winning. I don't like them otherwise. And I like real polls, too. And Leah, I don't know if you've seen the last polls. You're doing very well, Leah. You're doing very well. Leah's a tireless fighter for the people of Wisconsin. She will always vote for your Wisconsin values. She's a very special person. I've gotten to know her. I don't know if she liked me at the beginning, but she likes me now. Does that make sense? She likes me now. We've gotten to know each other. She's an incredible woman. Leah's radical far-left opponent is Tammy Baldwin, who wants a socialist takeover of health care. You know, I'm trying to say that very nicely. I'm trying to... See, normally I'd scream, they want a socialist takeover. Now I say, wants a socialist takeover. I'm trying to be nice, okay? Right? But it's true. Baldwin voted against our tax cuts, and she wants to restore job-killing regulations that have helped literally rebuild our country. Baldwin opened and voted against Kate's Law, if you can believe that. She voted against the thing that we're proud to have started, and we're moving along rapidly, the border wall. And Tammy Baldwin voted in favor of deadly sanctuary cities. Not too good in Wisconsin. Tammy Baldwin, and this is a bad time for being in favor of open borders, but that's what she's in favor. She wants open borders. She wants people to pour into our country. Can't do that. You can't do that, Wisconsin. So if you want strong borders and safe communities, you need to vote for Leah. They will, Leah. I think you like her. Right? They like you, Leah. It's going to be a big, big win. It's going to be a big win for you because you need that kind of representation. Thank you, Leah. Finally, let me introduce a true Wisconsin patriot, somebody that I have really gotten to know. He's a fighter, and he's become a great friend of mine, one of the most capable people in all of government, Governor Scott Walker. You are, Scott. You are. Scott Walker is a tireless warrior. He's a warrior. Didn't he win like 3 elections last time? Right? He's the only guy gets elected 3 times and he doesn't stop. He's a warrior. That was some period of time, right, Scott? 3 times. He's a warrior for Wisconsin workers and families. Go ahead. He's a good man, folks, I can tell you. He's a good man. And he loves this state. He loves the people of this state. He'll cut your taxes. He's been doing it. Improve your schools. He's been doing it. Bring down the cost of health care. He's been doing that as good as anybody. And continue creating great paying jobs for the state of Wisconsin. Scott fights every day for you. And now we need you to fight for him. And all you have to do is go out and vote. Scott, will you come on up here, please? Come on, come on.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Mr. President. We are so happy to have you back here in the state of Wisconsin, north central Wisconsin. Are you happy to have the president here? Good spot. A couple of weeks ago, the president called me when I was with our good friend Mike Pence, our great vice president. He said, "Where should we go?" We said, "Wausau." Pretty good crowd here tonight. They're outside and all around. But I got to tell you, we're absolutely pumped up. We've got more people working in this state than ever before in the history of the state of Wisconsin. 8 straight months of record low unemployment. Things are happening just like they're happening in America. And the president mentioned my wife, Tonette, who does a super job as our First Lady, but many of you know, I said before, she's got type 1 diabetes. And Mr. President, I want to thank you. You said it again today, earlier today, and I want to reinforce it to everyone here in this state and across the country. We will always cover people like my wife with pre-existing medical conditions. Don't believe the lies. Don't believe the lies. We will cover people with pre-existing conditions. You talked about manufacturing jobs. This year, we're the 2nd most new manufacturing jobs in the country in the great state of Wisconsin. And Mr. President, you talked about Foxconn. It's great to see where we were at back in June with the groundbreaking. But you know what? That helps people all across the state. It helps someone like Alex, who works at Merrill Steel, just down the way here in Schofield, Wisconsin, because he's one of the welders working on that project. It helps the guys that work over at County Materials in Marathon City, just a few miles to the west, who are doing 5.5 miles of concrete for the drainage system down there. It helps people in Black River Falls at Hoffman Construction, who are moving tons and tons and tons of dirt. It helps people in Eau Claire and in Green Bay and in Appleton and all over the state of Wisconsin who will benefit from the thousands and thousands of good paying jobs at Foxconn. And it wouldn't have happened without this president opening the door, and we took the ball and ran with it. You know, the president talked about dairy, and I remember, you talked about Reince, a year and a half ago, April of 2017, the president was talking about Buy America down at Snap-on Tools in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And when he came in, we grabbed for a minute, and we just, as he talked about, we brought in some of the farmers. We talked about the problem, because Grassland had just cut off a bunch of our dairy farmers in this state because of Canada. The president heard about that, and he said, I'm going to bring it up right now. The speech had nothing to do with agriculture. It was all about manufacturing. He took it head on. He said, we will take care of the dairy farmers. And unlike so many politicians in Washington in the past, this president never forgot his promise to the dairy farmers of the state of Wisconsin. He's making dairy great again in America, and it starts in Wisconsin. And I finally want to tell you, because you want to hear him, but one last thing, because we don't hear enough of this from the press. You hear all sorts of myths about the tax cut. Well, let me set it straight. These aren't my numbers. These are official numbers from the Wisconsin Department of Revenue. You know how much the typical taxpayer saves because of this man's tax cuts, the tax cuts that the members of Congress he introduced, helped pass, and he signed into law. A typical family in this state, that's 2 people working, 2-person working household, 2 kids at home saves $2,508. That's real money. That's not crumbs. And Mr. President, we know a thing or two about taxes in this state because over the last 8 years, we've cut taxes on the hardworking people of this state more than $8 billion with lower property taxes and lower income taxes. And we're going to keep doing it because as folks heard before, my opponent wants to raise their property taxes. Tony Evers wants to raise their property taxes and income taxes and taxes on gas more than $1 a gallon. And what will that do? Tony's taxes will cost us jobs. We're not going to do it. We got a plan to keep moving Wisconsin forward. And with this president, he's going to keep moving Wisconsin forward for generations to come. Thanks for the help for Wisconsin, Mr. President.
Thank you. Good job. He's a great guy. Scott's opponent is an extreme liberal named Tony Evers. Tony wants to raise your income taxes substantially, wants to raise your gas taxes, raise your property taxes, raise all of your taxes, and Tony Evers wants to get illegal aliens to flood into Wisconsin to get free public benefits funded by you, the American taxpayer. No good. No good. So don't wait. Vote early for Scott Walker. Tremendous guy. Leah, would you come up here, please? Just quick. Come on. She's so incredible. Come here. Come here. This is unscheduled, but I want to say. Say something just for a second.
Thank you, Mr. President. It is an honor to stand with you, and I am so thrilled that you came back to Wisconsin. You promised me the day you called me after I won that primary, and you followed through on your promise, just like you have followed through on every promise you made for us. Everywhere I go in this great state, and I looked out when I spoke to all of you before, and it is overwhelming because I have put on 92,000 miles on my car, and I see faces from every county that I have visited, all 72 counties, and you all welcomed me over and over and over again, and we are going to send Tammy Baldwin back to the private sector that she doesn't know exists. Everything this president said he was going to do, he's done. And we need to send him someone in Washington, a reinforcement in that Senate, so that Senator Ron Johnson's vote isn't canceled. And I need your help to do that. Taxing Tammy, she doesn't have your best interests in mind. Taxing Tammy has voted to increase your taxes 413 times. You heard the governor talk about $2,500. I think it was $2,508 if I heard correctly. Taxing Tammy didn't think that you deserved that $2,500. I think you do. And of course, the issue that we have been talking about, healthcare and healthcare reform, the big lie that Scott Walker talked about. Tammy Baldwin is saying that same lie over and over and over again. We support taking care of people with pre-existing conditions. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'll fall in front of a truck before I let people go without coverage for pre-existing conditions. Tammy Baldwin's plan, Medicare for all. You know what my name is for it, Mr. President? Chaos for all. Chaos for all, because she wants to destroy, dismantle Medicare, Medicare Advantage, Medicaid, TRICARE. I'm not going to let her do it. I need to go to Washington to stand with this man so we fix health care reform once and for all. And one last thing, if I may indulge, Mr. President. I'm talking about chaos. I mean, it is the left's, that's everything they're about. Chaos at the border, chaos in healthcare, chaos, resist, obstruct. Tammy Baldwin stands for that chaos. She stands for open borders. She stands for sanctuary cities. This daughter of Greek immigrants who knows that we are a nation of laws and we must uphold those laws. And I want to stand with this president when he builds the wall and finishes building the wall. Thank you. I'll finish.
Thank you, Donna. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. President. We need your help. Let's win. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Can we hold up our thumbs? Thank you, sir.
Be careful, Donna. Thank you, Leah. Great job. She's terrific, and we have to have her down there. She's going to be a great leader, but we need the votes, and we need Leah. The Democrat health care plan would obliterate Medicare, you know that, and terminate Medicare Advantage for nearly 500,000 seniors right here in Wisconsin. These are people that really depend on it. Republicans want to protect Medicare for our great seniors who have earned it, and you know what? They've paid for it for a long time. They've paid for it. And Republicans will always protect, as Leah said, Americans with pre-existing conditions, 100%. 100%. And we've done a great job. We've gotten rid of a lot of different elements of Obamacare. We had it beaten, but we got no Democrat votes, not one. And we had it repealed and replaced, but essentially we've dismantled it. We got rid of so much and so many bad elements of it. It's been brought down to size. If you notice, your premiums are going up because of what we've done, going up very little by comparison. I remember last year I came here, and the year before I came here, we were talking about increases of 115%, 190%, 216% in some states. And we got rid of a thing called the individual mandate, where you had the privilege of paying a fortune in order not to pay a fortune for bad health care. That was by far the most unpopular part. It really was the most important part from their standpoint. Gone, it's gone. Saved tremendous numbers of people a lot of money. Saved a lot of small business owners a lot of money. And now what we've done is we've come up with great plans. We have all sorts of co-op plans and other plans, and people are going to them by the millions, and it's been an honor. So we've done a real job, and healthcare is going to be our major focus, one of our major focuses. We've done something very special, but getting rid of that individual mandate was so important. Scott would call me all the time, how do you get rid of the individual mandate? Guess what? We put it into our tax cut plan. Can you believe that one? Because, you know, they talk about majorities. We don't have, like, it's this. I always say, if a senator catches a cold, we don't have a majority. 1 cent, so we have to wait. It's so close. We need more senators. We need more congressmen and women, and it'll happen. Because if you look at the early voting, this blue wave doesn't seem to be doing so well. What happened to this blue wave, Paul? I've been hearing about the blue wave, right? It's not doing so well. Now, look, I better be a little careful. Because, you know, in 2 weeks, if we don't do quite as well as we're maybe thinking we're going to do, I'll be all over television with these exact remarks. They'll be doing a number, But that's okay. Look, early voting looks extraordinarily good for the Republicans. Extraordinarily. Who knows? It doesn't matter. It only matters on November 6th when those votes are tallied up and counted. But the start that you've gotten out to, because you want safety, you want security, you want great jobs, you want great Medicare, and you want health care. Thank you very much. Thank you. I like that person. Who is that person? Thank you. Thank you. Good-looking guy. Nice-looking man. But we want strength. We want a strong military. We want to take care of our veterans. We want to get our veterans. You know, we did something for our veterans nobody thought was possible. We got Veterans Choice, where if they're not being taken care of, they go out to a private doctor. Veterans Choice. Took 44 years, and Ryan and all of these incredible people that we just introduced, they helped, every one of them. And Paul, thank you. You worked hard on that one, right? That was not an easy one. And then you had Veterans Accountability, Paul, right? That was 43 years. That means right now, if they don't treat our veterans right, they were really protected. They could do anything. They could steal, they could rob, they could be sadists. We had some of them too. They wouldn't have been sadists with our veterans in their prime, but they were nasty. They were nasty. You couldn't do anything. Now we can fire them so fast your head will spin. The Democrats also want to raid Medicare to fund benefits from so many different things, but they want to fund them for illegal immigrants, so the illegal immigrants come in. And how about the governor, slightly different than Scott? The governor who's trying to become the next governor of the state of California. He wants open borders. Think of this. Just think of this. He wants open borders. Everybody can come to California. And he wants to give you free health care, free education, driver's licenses. I said the other night jokingly, probably a Rolls Royce, and one of these people said, he said he's going to give him a Rolls Royce, and he did not say that. The governor never. You can't joke with these people. You can't be even a little sarcastic. I said, they want to supply a Rolls Royce, and they actually said, one of them, just one, they want to supply a Rolls Royce. They said, the governor of California never said that. They can't take a joke. But maybe they will start taking a joke, and maybe we're going to be a lot better off when they do. As we speak, the Democrat Party is openly encouraging caravan after caravan of illegal aliens to violate our laws and break into our country. Don't worry about it, folks. You have nothing to worry about. Don't worry about it. The crisis on the border, and it is a crisis. It's crazy. It's crazy. Right now is the sole result of Democrat laws and activist Democrat judges that do whatever they want and that prevent us from returning illegal aliens back home to Central America and other parts of the world. Democrats even support sanctuary cities that release violent gang members and you see the MS-13 predators. Some people don't like it when I use that name. These are predators. Only in Wisconsin, right? All that. He's screaming. He's screaming. I won't say what you scream. Release them into U.S. communities, right? We don't want that. Unless you'd like to have them up in Wisconsin. Would you like to have MS-13? You sure? All right, because if you said yes, you know, we'll just send them your way. Paul, I don't think they want MS-13. Does it work up here too well? No? You want to know the truth? I know the people of Wisconsin. Actually, I think MS-13 would be in big trouble. Do. I do.
Republicans believe our country should be a sanctuary for law-abiding Americans, not criminal aliens. And the Republican Party will always stand proudly with the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol and law enforcement. And you think they have an easy job? They don't have an easy job. You know, ICE has taken a tremendous amount of pounding. These are great patriots. These are people, you're right, they're heroes. These are people, you don't want their job. They go into nests, they call them nests of gangs, and like MS-13, equal. They go into these nests like it's a day at the office. I don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do it. I think that one does want to do it. I think he does want to do it, actually. It's tough stuff. And you know, where I grew up, near Long Island, we have like these great communities, and they were infiltrated with MS-13. And we got them, he says, get them the hell out. We are, actually. We actually are. We are getting them out of this country by the thousands. You can believe it. But you know, it's like liberating, like a war, like there's a foreign invasion, and they occupy your country, and then you get them out through whatever, and they call it liberation. You're liberated. ICE goes in, and they're much tougher, much stronger, and much smarter. They go in, and they, in a relatively nice way, I want to say that, relatively nice, they get them out. They put them in the paddy wagons, and they get them out of the country. They bring them back home, or worse. And these towns are being liberated, and the people are clapping. They're looking. I'm telling you, it's like watching World War II movies. It's like watching documentaries on World War I and World War II, the occupations. They get them, they take them out, and the people are on their windows. They're clapping and screaming, and they're happy. This is ICE. And the Democrats want to terminate ICE. They want to get rid of them. So if you want to uphold our laws, our borders, and our way of life, you need to vote for Scott Walker and Leah Vukmar. Leah Vukmar. You got to do it. So Leah and Scott, good luck. I think you're going to make it. If you don't make it, he'll call up if he doesn't make it. Hello, is the president there? Oh, who's calling? Scott Walker. Didn't he lose? Yeah. Oh. I'll talk to him in a few months. But that'll never happen. Please don't let that happen. Please don't let that happen. He's got a good lead. Just, you got to vote. Doesn't matter about leads, you know. The lead, November 6th is your lead. He does. He has a wonderful lead. And Leah, looking good. You got to get out and vote. They'll both make it, and we need them both badly. This election is about borders, and this election is about jobs. In less than 2 years, we've created 4.2 million new jobs and lifted, listen to this, 4.2 million Americans off of food stamps. We've created 500,000 new manufacturing jobs. You remember when the previous administration said, you can't have manufacturing jobs anymore. I used to say, what does he mean by that? And by the way, I hate to say it, these are our best jobs. These are our best jobs. These are great jobs, and they're very important jobs for our country. But remember they said, you need a magic wand. A magic wand. I guess we have a magic wand, right? In fact, now the number is almost 600,000, and that's since our election. And here in Wisconsin, manufacturing jobs are growing at the fastest pace in more than 23 years. African American and Hispanic American poverty has reached an all-time low. African American, Hispanic American, Asian American unemployment have all reached their lowest rates ever recorded. That's a tough soundbite. Isn't that a tough soundbite for the opponent? Right? And in addition to that, Kanye West likes me. Right? Which is good. Interesting guy. Big Jim Brown, right? I had Jim Brown. These are the opposites. Jim Brown sitting there. He looks like he could play tomorrow. Big Jim and Kanye, totally opposites. Jim's strong and silent. Kanye, he has his ideas. But they're both good people, and they like what we're doing, and that's great. Great people. And women's unemployment just fell to 3.6%, which is, as you know, I hate to say it, that's my worst statistic. Because that's only the lowest rate in 65 years. That's not historic. The lowest since, and I've been waiting for 6 weeks to get rid of that 65 years, and I haven't been able to do it, but it's happening soon. It's happening soon. We've also taken the toughest ever action to crack down on China's abusive trade practices. They want to make a deal. And I said, you're not ready yet. Thrilling. They want to make a deal. And President Xi is a great person, and hopefully we'll do something soon or someday. But you know, $500 billion has been taken out of this country for years, every year. $500 billion. On trade, we lost $807 billion. Think of it, 800. Who made these deals? Who made these deals? And we're the one with all the power because we're the piggy bank that all of these countries want to come in and rob. So we have all the power. But we did Canada and Mexico. We did South Korea. We're doing a lot of them now. They're all coming, and they all want to make a deal because they're afraid of those tariffs. They don't want those tariffs. They'll sign anything but tariffs, please. Don't do that to me, President Trump. We don't want tariffs. We don't want tariffs, please. Taking care of our people. We're taking care of our people. You know, we had these globalists. They didn't care so much about us. They want to take care of the globe. I want to take care of the United States of America, and we'll help other countries. We're going to help other countries. But we can't have wealthy, wealthy countries where we take care of their military and we're not reimbursed, or we're reimbursed for a tiny fraction. Can't have that. These are wealthy countries. I've already started. I've gone to some of them. I don't know if I should give you names. Who cares? There are plenty of them. I say, Mr. Prime Minister. I say, Mr. President. I say, Mr. King. Mr. Dictator. Mr. Whoever the hell we're protecting. You got to start paying for this protection. Got to start paying. And Prime Minister Abe, Prime Minister of Japan, great guy, fantastic man, actually, just won a big election. But I said it to him. Japan's an immensely wealthy nation. They send millions and millions of cars to the United States, and they also build them in the United States. I like them better, by the way. I think they're much nicer. But I said to Prime Minister Abe, I said, look, we're taking care of your military. We helped you a lot with North Korea. They're not sending missiles over Japan. I did that. That's a pretty good, wouldn't you say? It's pretty good, right? That's a good favor. But you're only paying for a percentage of your military. We're doing the rest. You've got to really help us out. It's not fair. And he looked at me, and he didn't say anything. I said, has anyone ever asked you to do this before? He goes, no. It's true. We're talking about billions of dollars. South Korea, the same thing. Wonderful people, President Moon. We buy missile systems. How much is that system? Sir, that system is $1 billion. Good. General told me that. I said, General, who's paying for it? Sir, I don't know. I said, find out who's paying. I think I knew the answer. Comes back the next day. Sir, the system is think of it, not a million, a billion. The system is $1 billion, and sir, the United States of America is paying for it. I said, why are we paying? Let me ask you this question. You have missiles being shot from North Korea to shut. Now, it's not going to happen, folks, because we have a great relationship now with Kim Jong-un, Chairman Kim. Not going to happen. So this is a year ago. So let me ask you, missiles go from North Korea to South Korea. We have the best people in the world, the best trade. We have a missile system that costs $1 billion. We shoot the missiles down. That's great. South Korea is very rich. They make your Samsung, your LG, they make your ships, they make everything. They're making a fortune because of us. We have 32,000 soldiers over there that they don't pay for. Figure that one. So they're making the missiles. I say, so General, let me ask you a question. Why is it that they don't pay? Because, sir, they are an ally of the United States of America. And I say, General, I like them too, but they got to pay. They got to pay. They got to pay. They got to pay. I could tell you 100 stories like that. I could tell you stories all night long, but the politicians may get tired and go home. But we are really doing something. We secured $716 billion to fully rebuild the United States military. And at my direction, very exciting because this is where it's at, the Pentagon is now working to create the 6th branch of the American Armed Forces, the Space Force. That's where it's at. Have to do it. Have to do it. Think of that. Isn't that exciting? And it's so important. That's what it is. Satellites are going to be they're happening. That's where it's at. From the standpoint, I'm not just talking about rockets going to the moon, I'm talking about for military protection, for military offense and defense. That's where it's at. U.S. Space Force. And I withdrew the United States from the horrible, one-sided Iran nuclear deal or catastrophe. And we have recognized the capital of Israel and opened the American embassy in Jerusalem. And together we have made extraordinary progress. And we're just getting started. You know, the embassy was supposed to cost $1.1 billion. You know that, right? And every president, for many presidents, said, we're going to approve it, we're going to approve it. They never did. Because once they got to office, they found not so easy. First of all, every country in the world called, please don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. So I just turned off the phone. I said, I don't want to talk to this. I was going to approve it on a Monday, and I said, tell them I'll call them back on Tuesday. I'm going to call them. I called more people on Tuesday. I said, yeah, what's up? Well, I want to talk to you about the embassy. Oh, gee, sorry. It's done. But I understand why Obama and Bush and Clinton and many, many, all the way back, didn't do it. Tremendous pressure. And we did it. But it was supposed to cost $1.1 billion. $1.1 billion. And one of the generals walked into my office, sir, would you sign this? I signed Donald. And I said, by the way, what is it I'm signing? You know, I sign a lot of papers. Scary. You're signing so many papers. I said, what is this? Sir, we're building the United States Embassy in Jerusalem. Oh, how much is it? $1.1 billion, sir. How the hell do you build 1.1? We're building a one-story building. Any builders in here from Wisconsin? You do it for about $200,000, right? Oh, it's true. I said, how do you spend $1.1 billion on a one-story structure? Sir, I don't know, but that's what they say it's going to cost. So I say, wait a minute, I can't sign it. In fact, it's actually half signed. It's signed half. It just has Donald. I didn't even get the J for John. Just says Donald, and then you see it's a dead stop. I said, I'm not signing it. And I called up a great man, David Friedman, one of the most successful lawyers in New York. He's the ambassador to Israel. I said, David, They want us to buy this unbelievably expensive site, and they want us to build a building that's going to cost $1.1 billion. Number one, it probably will take 25 years. It'll never happen. Let's get this thing done immediately. Is there anything? He said, sir, can I call you back? Calls me back 4 days later. He says, sir, we own the best site in Jerusalem. We don't have to buy a site. We have the best site. On the site, setback, which they want for safety, setback is a building. And the building is nice, but the best location. I think I can renovate the building, sir, and I can do it for less than $200,000. True story. That's a true story. I can do it for less than $200,000. First time in my life, ever. I think it's the first time. I said, David, that's too little. I said, it doesn't sound right. I said, spend $400,000 or $500,000. Okay? It's too little. And we went out and we built the most beautiful building for $500,000. Yes? Go ahead. You have a doctor in the house, please? Doctor? Doctor over here, please. Thank you. They okay? Okay? You have a doctor? Thank you, doctor. Doctors do a great job. And take your time. That's great. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Hey. Thank you. Great. Thank you. Thank you, folks, very much. That's very nice. So we got it built, and we're happy, and we saved about $1.1 billion, essentially. And it's up, it's open, it's operating, and we're happy. Everybody's happy. If you vote Republican this November, we will continue to cut your taxes, cut your regulations, and raise your incomes. We will protect Medicare and Social Security. We will continue to confirm judges who interpret our Constitution as written. We will secure our border. We will pass case law. We'll stop those sanctuary cities, stop catch and release, end visa lottery, the worst. Pick it out of a hat. Pick it out of a hat. How about that? Visa lottery. We have a lottery for people coming to the United States. I don't think those countries are putting their finest in the lottery. We say, how did these people come here? We got them in the lottery. Oh, great. We're going to end the lottery, end chain migration, which is terrible. And we will keep the criminals, drug dealers, and terrorists the hell out of our country. We will lift millions of our citizens from welfare to work, from dependence to independence, and from poverty to prosperity. For years you watched as your leaders apologized for America. You now have a president who is proudly standing up for you and for America. Thank you. We are standing up for your values. We are standing up for Wisconsin. And we are proudly standing up for our great national anthem. If you want to continue this incredible momentum, then you must vote Republican. Go out and vote. Vote for Leah. Vote for Scott. Great people. You won't get better. Loyal citizens like you help build this country, and together we are taking back our country, returning power to you, the American people. That's what's happening. This state was settled by tough frontier men and strong pioneer women who braved the wilderness to build a life and a home. They didn't have a lot of money. They didn't have a lot of luxury. But they all had one thing in common. They loved their families, they loved their country, and they loved their God. These courageous Wisconsin patriots did not shed their blood, shed their sweat and tears, so that we could sit at home while others tried to erase their legacy and destroy our proud American heritage. For the sake of our freedom and for the sake of our children, we are going to work, we are going to fight, and we are going to win, 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 and we are going to keep on winning like never before. We will not bend. We will not break. We will never give in. We will never give up. We will never back down. We will never surrender. And we will always fight on to victory, victory, victory. Because we are Americans, and our hearts bleed red, white, and blue. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. And together, we will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you very much, Wisconsin. Thank you. Thank you.